कार्तिक गिरिधारी शिशि राधा विनोद बिहारी जू की जाय। श्री गोविंद गोपीनाथ मदन मोहन जू की जाय। नित्यालप विष्णु विष्णुपार अष्टोत्तर शत शिशिमार भक्ति वेदांत नारायण गोसाई महाराज श्री गुरुदेव की जाय। नित्यालप विष्णु विष्णुपार अष्टोत्तर शत शिशिमार भक्ति वेदांत वामन गोसाई महाराज की जाय। नित्यालप विष्णु विष्णुपार अष्टोत्तर शत शिशिमार भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी महाराज शिल प्रभुपाद की जाय। नित्यालप विष्णु विष्णुपार अष्टोत्तर शत शिशिमार भक्ति प्रज्ञान केशव गोसाई महाराज की जाय। नित्यालप विष्णु विष्णुपार अष्टोत्तर शत शिशिमार भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोसाई प्रभुपाद की जाय। नित्यालप विष्णु महाभगवत श्री गोरक्षरस बाबूजी महाराज की जाय। नित्यालप विश्व श्री सच्चिदानंद भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर की जाय। नित्यालप विष्णु वैष्णव सार्वभौम श्री जगन्नाथ दास बाबूजी महाराज की जाय। श्री रूपानु गौड़िया गुरु वर्ग की जाय। जय श्री गौड़िया वेदांताचार्य श्रील बलदेव विद्याभूषण प्रभु की जय। तुदिय शुभ तिरुभाव तिथि की जय। जय श्री जय श्री विश्वनाथ चक्रवर्ती ठाकुर की जय। श्री नरोत्तम श्रीनिवास श्यामानंद प्रभु त्राय की जय। श्री कृष्णदास कविराज गोसाई पायर की जय। श्री रूप सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ श्री जीव गोपाल भट्टदास रघुनाथ शारद गोसाई प्रभु की जय। श्री स्वरूप दामोदर राय रामानंदारी श्री गौर पार्षद वृंद की जय। नाम अक्षय श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार शिवासरी गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री क्षेत्र मंडल गौरमंडल ब्रजमंडल मथुर वृंदावन धाम की जय। सर्व अभिष्ट प्रदात गिरिराज महाराज की जय। श्री राधा कुंड श्याम कुंड की जय। श्री यमुना देवी गंग देवी की जय। श्री तुलसी महारानी वृंद देवी की जय। श्री भक्ति देवी की जय। श्री पूर्णमासी योग माया की जय। श्री गोपेश्वर महादेव की जय। श्री हरि नाम संकीर्तन की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। श्री निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। हरे कृष्णा धन्यवाद प्रणाम everybody. So let's do Mangala Charan. One second. Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Guruve Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tad Bhaktaya Namo Namaha. Shri Siddhanta Saraswati Tividito Gauriya Gurvanvaye Bhato Bhanuriva Prabhata Gagane Yogora Sankirtanaya Maya Varati Mingilo Daragatan Udrita Jiva Niman Krishna Prema Sudabdika Hana Sukham Pradat Prabhung Tang Bhaje Vande Bhakti Vinodang Shri Gaur Shakti Sarupakam Bhakti Shastra Samrajam Radha Rasa Sudha Nidhim. Actually, let's recite the pranam mantra for Baladeva Vidyābhūṣaṇa. Maybe we'll do it at the end. Yeah. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Smara Gaura Gadadhara Kelikalam Bhava Gaura Gadadhara Pakshachara Shrinu Gaura Gadadhara Charu Katham Bhaja Godrumakanana Kunja Vidum Tavai Vasmi Na Jivami Tvaya Vina Iti vigyaya devi tvang nayamang charanantikam. Bhaktya vihina aparada lakshay kshiptashtakama madhye kripa mai tvam sharanam prapanna vrinde namaste charanarvindam. Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. All right. Oh, wait. Let me get the pranam mantra. We're going to include this in the Gaudiya Giti Gucha. Let me just find it really quick. Uh, Laid out. Should be under Guru here. So yeah, and in the new songbook, I think I've shown you this before. After the the Ashtakam for Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj, I included pranam mantras for Baladeva Vidyābhūṣaṇa, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Nartam Das Thakur, um, Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami, Madhavendra Puri, Madhvacharya, like that. So here's a pranam mantra for Baladeva Vidyābhūṣaṇa. Shri Madhva Sampradaya Shri Chaitanya Kula Rakshaka Vedanta Charya Shardulo Baladevo Mahamati. So Shri Baladeva Vidyābhūṣaṇa is the protector of the Shri Madhva Sampradaya, and he is the protector of the family of Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He is the lion-like Vedanta Acharya and is of great intellectual brilliance. All right, so Jai Śrīla Baladeva Vidyābhūṣaṇa ki Jai. Today we are going to read an article by, well, a class that my Srila Gurudev gave in, I think, 1998. And then we'll read from this wonderful book of Srila Bhakti Bhallabha Goswami Maharaj, Sri Chaitanya and his associates. And then we will read in the introduction to my Gurudev's Madhurya Kadambini, he tells the pastime of when, the debates that happened in Jaipur and Baladev Vidyābhūṣaṇa, how he saved our Gaudiya Sampradaya from possibly being even expelled from Vraj. It's pretty serious. And then also, if there's time at the ends, then I also found a lot of extra information about Baladev Vidyābhūṣaṇa on the ISKCON Desire Tree website. So yeah, we'll see how much time we have. Dandavat pranams, everybody. Let's see. Nari Hari Prabhu, Bhavatarani Mataji, Sarveshwari Mataji, Anadi Krishna Prabhu, Rukmini Didi. I think we have two Rukmini Didis with us right now. So one from Eugene, and then we have on YouTube, there's Rukmini Didi from, we all know Rukmini Didi, sister of Rukmanjari Didi, Haribol. And Ganga Mataji, oh, and Shripad Bhaktivedanta Sajan Maharaj, Dandavat Pranams Maharaj. And Vrinda Didi, Haribol. And all the other devotees watching, Dandavat Pranams. I'm guessing Indira Mataji, Raseshwari Mataji, and all the devotees watching in the future, like Shachi Devi, Revati Didi, Jayadev Prabhu. Dandavat Pranams, everybody. If you write a comment, I'll see your name. All right, so let's begin. Okay. Disappearance Day of Śrīla Baladeva Vidyābhūṣaṇa. This is from a class that my Srila Gurudev gave in Los Angeles, June 4th, 1998. Today is the disappearance day of Śrīla Baladeva Vidyābhūṣaṇa, one of the most elevated acharyas in our disciplic succession. Today is also the birthday of Srimati Gangamata Goswamini, and it is also the very day that the Ganga River came to this world. For us here in Navadip, that will be tomorrow. And so, yeah, we'll have a special program tomorrow to read about Gangamata Goswamini, and maybe we can read Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's glorification of the Ganga, and like that. So, so 3 holy days are here. So I guess sometimes those 3 festivals appear on one day, sometimes it's on different days. In India, in all our mats, there will be a very big festival of Hari Katha for these prominent leaders in devotion to Sri Krishna. Baladeva Vidyābhūṣaṇa was born in Orissa, near Puri, in a place called Chilka Lake. So Baladeva Vidyābhūṣaṇa was Oriya, huh? I'm guessing. He was very brilliant, and in his boyhood, he learnt all of Vyakaran, all Sanskrit grammar, as well as the Vedas, Upanishads, and other scriptures. He wanted especially to read and study Vedanta. He read Sri Shankaracharya's explanation of Vedanta, but he was not satisfied and wanted to study more. Therefore, he went to South India to a place called Udupi, where he studied all the commentaries on Vedanta, like the Sri Bhashya of Sri Ramanuja, the Parijata Saurabh Bhashya of Sri Nimbaditya, more of the Shariraka Bhashya of Sri Shankaracharya, the Sarvagya Sukti Bhashya of Sri Vishnu Swami, the Brihad Bhashya and Anubhashya of Sri Madhvacharya, and the Bhaskar Bhashya of Sri Bhaskar Acharya. He became very learned, and after that, he returned to his homeland with a desire to conquer the entire world, to free it of misunderstandings and philosophical tattva. He went to Jagannath Puri, and he thought, previously, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya and many others like him have been here. So there must be so many learned persons in their line. I will conquer and defeat them. At that time, there was a Gaudiya Vaishnava present named Radha Damodar Prabhu, who was in the line of and just after Shamananda Prabhu, Rasikananda Prabhu, and Nayanananda Prabhu. Yeah, it should be Nayanananda Prabhu. Radha Damodar Prabhu was a very good scholar. He was very learned, but he kept all his knowledge hidden. He was a very simple person, always chanting and remembering in the line of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Srila Rupa Goswami. One day, Baladeva Vidyābhūṣaṇa came to defeat him. But when he heard all his Siddhanta, he thought, I am very insignificant, and I do not know anything in front of him. I am like a baby, a small baby. He at once surrendered to the lotus feet of Radha Damodar and took initiation from him. After that, he went to Vrindavan and took shelter of his Shiksha Guru, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. And he totally surrendered to him. There he read all of Srila Jiva Goswami's 6 Sandarbhas. And actually, I think I remember hearing, I'm not sure if this is true, but that he got the 6 Sandarbhas from Radha Damodar originally. And then, yeah. But there he read all of Srila Jiva Goswami's 6 Sandarbhas, the Tattva Sandarbha, Paramatma Sandarbha, Bhagavat Sandarbha, Krishna Sandarbha, Bhakti Sandarbha, and Priti Sandarbha. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur had taken Kshetra Sannyas. Kshetra Sannyas means that one lives either in Raj Dham, Navadip Dham, or Jagannath Puri Dham and takes a vow that I will not leave this place. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur had taken Kshetra Sannyas in Vrindavan Dham, and he decided, I will never go out of Vrindavan. Gradually, he reached the old age of 100 years, and at that time there was some quarrel. Some of the members of the Ramanuja Sampradaya, the Sri Sampradaya, but actually there's the Ramanandis. And I think later on, the Ramanandis, see, there was something, Jai Singh, Jai Singh the second, he, uh, I don't know all the details, but something like he became very attracted or like influenced by the Ramanandis, and um, and the Ramanandis, they affiliated themselves with the line of Ramanuja, but they're a bit different, like the Sri Sampradaya, but they're a bit different because in the Sri Sampradaya, I think they worship Lakshmi Narayan, right? But the Ramanandis, this was started by Ramananda, um, and they worship Sitaram, Lakshman Hanuman. And I think later on, they disassociated themselves with the Sri Sampradaya, if I understood correctly what I heard. Um, so, but yeah, some of the members, so the Ramanandis are, who are at that time the members of the Ramanuja Sampradaya, which propounds Vaidhi Bhakti and Varnashram Dharma. They challenged, how is it that Srimati Radhika, although not married to Krishna, always sits with Krishna? It is illegal. That was the first question. And second, there's no mention of the name Radhika in Srimad Bhagavatam or any other Shastra. And third, the Gaudiya Vaishnavas are not in any Vaishnav Sampradaya. There are only four Sampradayas. There's the Sri Lakshmi Sampradaya, the Brahma Sampradaya, the Rudra Sampradaya, and the Sanak Sampradaya. In Kali Yuga, there are four prominent acharyas. There's Ramanuja in the Sri Sampradaya, Madhvacharya in the Brahma Sampradaya, Vishnu Swami in the Rudra Sampradaya, and Nimbaditya in the Sanak Sampradaya. From where did these Gaudiya Vaishnavas recently come? We do not accept them. They have no commentary on Vedanta Sutra, so we cannot accept that they know Siddhanta. We cannot accept their philosophical conclusions. And the king of Jaipur, he had he liked the Chaitanya Vaishnavas. I think, like from my understanding, he liked them, like but I mean, he was worshiping Radha Govinda Dev. He considered himself just a servant of Radha Govinda Dev. Like that was Rupa Goswami's, like, and so, but at the same time, he wanted to be a dharmic king. He said he even traced his lineage to Sri Ram, and he wanted to establish all Maryada. Something very interesting. Um, Sundar Gopal Prabhu told me this, that he wanted to very strongly establish Dharma, and that all the residents in Vraj and in Jaipur and like all the residents would be very dharmic. And so he made a town outside of Vraj called Vairagyapur, which is where he forced all people who were not able to follow their all so-called sadhus who weren't able to follow their vows of celibacy. He put them all in Vairagyapur. That's abstinence town. They were all, and so like all the bogus sadhus and everybody like that were all forced to live in this town together called Vairagyapur. Yeah. But yeah, the king of Jaipur, he requested Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur to come, but he denied their request. He ordered his disciple Baladeva Vidyābhūṣaṇa Prabhu to go in his stead. Baladeva Vidyābhūṣaṇa Prabhu went there, together with another prominent disciple of Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, and defeated all. He quoted many Puranas, Vedas, Upanishads, and the Srimad Bhagavatam, proving that Srimati Radhika and Lord Shri Krishna are always together. Radhika is Krishna's potency or power. They cannot be separated. Śrīla Baladeva Vidyābhūṣaṇa quoted a story from Śrīla Jayadeva Goswami's Gita Govinda and showed how Radhika was married to Krishna. He also quoted the history from the Srimad Bhagavatam, wherein Lord Brahma stole all the cowherd boys and calves, and Krishna himself became the exact duplicates of all the boys. According to the Bhagavatam, that year Gargacharya announced that all the cowherd men should give their daughters in marriage, because it was a very auspicious year. In that year, therefore, all the daughters were married to all the sons of the cowherd men. Actually, though, because the young cowherd boys were Krishna himself, all the girls were married to Krishna. Śrīla Baladeva Vidyābhūṣaṇa Prabhu presented some verses from Srimad Bhagavatam. Let me just... Anayaradito nunang Bhagavan Harir Ishvara Yanno Vihaya Govinda Pritoyam Anayadraha. Certainly, this particular gopi has perfectly worshipped the all-powerful personality of Godhead Govinda, since he was so pleased with her that he abandoned the rest of us and brought her to a secluded place. Srimad Bhagavatam 10:30-28. There are so many verses substantiating the truth of Shri Shri Radha and Krishna. Śrīla Baladeva Vidyābhūṣaṇa Prabhu quoted them all, and he proved that Radhika is Shri Krishna's own power. For them, there's no need to marry. The Ramanandis, the followers of the Ramanuja Sampradaya, they accepted these arguments. They were bound to accept. They were defeated. The opposing party then said, but you have no bona fide Vaishnava Sampradaya. You are not in any of the bona fide Vaishnava Sampradayas. Baladeva Vidyābhūṣaṇa then proved the Gaudiya Vaishnavas are in the line of Sri Madhvacharya. Sri Lakshmipati Tirtha, who gave Diksha to Sri Nityananda Prabhu, was a disciple of in the line of Madhvacharya. Sri Madhavendra Puripad, the grand spiritual master of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, was also a disciple of this Lakshmipati Tirtha. Some people say that Nityananda Prabhu was a disciple of Madhavendra Puripad, and some people say Lakshmipati Tirtha. But I remember in our Chaitanya Bhagavat reading, Srila Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, I think he seemed to be of the opinion that Nityananda Prabhu was a disciple of Lakshmipati Tirtha. I have to find that Gaudiya Bhasha. That's what I remember, though. So the followers of, so the Ramanandis, they challenged. Lakshmipati Tirtha was Tirtha, and Madhavendra Puri was Puri. Because we'll see, like in the line, they all had the same last title, right? There's Vyasa Tirtha, anyways, like you'll see in the Paramparasang, they all have Tirtha in their names. So then he's not a Tirtha, he's a Puri. That's a different line. So how did this difference come? Śrīla Baladeva Vidyābhūṣaṇa clearly explains that one cannot decide a person's disciplic succession on the basis of sannyas. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was initiated by Sri Ishwar Puripad at Gaya, and in Vaishnav Siddhanta, he followed Ishwar Puripad. He did not follow Keshav Bharati, who gave him sannyas. The Guru is he who initiates by mantra, Harinam and Diksha mantra. Sri Ishwar Puripad gave Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu the Gopal mantra, and Mahaprabhu followed Vaishnava religion according to the mood of Ishwar Puripad and the line of Madhavendra Puripad. In the same way, although Srila Madhavendra Puri received sannyas from somewhere else, I think he received in a Mayavadi line also, right? Like Mahaprabhu, if I remember correctly. Anyways, I might be wrong on that. Anyways, although Madhavendra Puripad received sannyas from someone else, he was initiated into the Gopal mantra by Sri Lakshmipati Tirtha. There was a householder devotee at that time who took sannyas from someone in the Shankar Sampradaya, just as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did. Like Mahaprabhu, he was Vaishnav, not a Mayavadi. That Vaishnav was named Vishnu Puri. Okay, so Vishnu Puri. and he had been initiated in the Madhva Sampradaya. Madhavendra Puri took sannyas from that Puri, from Vishnu Puri. In this way, Gaudiya Vaishnavas are part of the Madhva Sampradaya. Nowadays, there is a similar friction in Vrindavan and Navadvip. One party is saying, we Gaudiya Vaishnavas are not under any Vaishnav Sampradaya. We are fully independent. Why should Chaitanya Mahaprabhu take shelter of any other Sampradaya? He is Krishna himself. My Gurudev writes a whole article on this in his book, Prabandha Panchakam. This argument is not correct. Shri Krishna accepted Sandipani Muni and Lord Ramachandra accepted Vasishta as their gurus. The duty of a Sampradaya Guru is not the job of Lord Krishna. Sampradayas are established by his powers and associates. Lakshmi, Brahma, Vishnu Swami, and Nimbaditya all are his associates. If Krishna were the head of the Sampradaya, it would be called Krishna Sampradaya or Narayan Sampradaya, not Brahma Sampradaya. The names of all the Sampradayas refer to the names of devotees. Shri Sampradaya, Brahma Sampradaya, Ramanuja. Shri Sampradaya is a Ramanuja Sampradaya. Anyways, I think it means to say the Nimbaditya Sampradaya and Madhva Sampradaya. Wait, never mind. It refers to the names of devotees. So there's the Shri Sampradaya, which is also known as the Ramanuja Sampradaya. And then there's the Brahma Sampradaya, which is also known as the Madhva Sampradaya. Nowadays, that party says that Gaudiya Vaishnavas are a separate and fully independent Sampradaya. But Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Srila Jiva Goswami, and before that, Srila Gopal Bhatta Goswami and Sri Kavi Karnapur have accepted the Madhva Sampradaya. Yeah, you can see in Gauraganadesh Tipika, it's Srila Kavi Karnapur writes how our line is in the Madhva Sampradaya. So we must also accept the Madhva Sampradaya, as Śrīla Baladeva Vidyābhūṣaṇa has written in his books. That party, those Babajis, they say that Baladeva Vidyābhūṣaṇa went to Udupi, the place of Madhvacharya, and that he accepted the Madhva Sampradaya. They say his initiation was in the Madhva Sampradaya. They say that he later came in the association of Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, but he never accepted Gaudiya Vaishnavism. And that is why he said that Gaudiya Vaishnavas are in the Madhva line. Yeah, they are questioning his affiliation. Is he more affiliated with the Madhvas than he is with the Gaudiya line? That's what So this idea is totally wrong. If Baladeva Vidyābhūṣaṇa was not in our Gaudiya Vaishnav line, how could he have explained all the Sandarbhas of Srila Jiva Goswami? He accepted Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as non-different from Sri Krishna. All his books are in our line, in the line of Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. He also explained Srila Rupa Goswami's Laghu Bhagavatamrita, as well as all the books of Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur and the other books of Srila Rupa Goswami. He was a Rupanuga Vaishnav. If Śrīla Baladeva Vidyābhūṣaṇa had not been present at that time, our Gaudiya Vaishnav identity would have disappeared from this world. He established all the principles and philosophy established by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He is a true Gaudiya Vaishnav. And just on that point, King Jai Singh II, he made a rule that anybody who did not affiliate themselves with one of the four sampradayas, if they didn't show their connection to one of the four sampradayas, then they would be expelled from Vraj. And an example of a group that he expelled from Vraj because they wouldn't align themselves with any of the four sampradayas was the Hithari Vangsha. At that time, he had them completely removed from Vraj because they refused to show how they are connected to any of the four sampradayas. So the Chaitanya Vaishnavas were in a big predicament. They had to prove that we were in the line of Madhvacharya. Otherwise, there'd be big possibility that they would all be completely expelled from Braj. And also the pujaris at the Govindadev temple, they would be barred from their service. And it's like the stakes are really high. Okay. For about 100 years, Smartas have been raising this question. But Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Srila Prabhupada Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and all other great acharyas have defeated all their arguments. Our Guru Maharaj has very boldly written a book about this. I want to publish it with so many notes and explanations. Very soon I will publish it. And this book was later published under the name Prabandha Panchakam. So Śrīla Baladeva Vidyābhūṣaṇa Prabhu is a very prominent person in our line. There are so many things to tell, but time is going to be over, so I'm ending here. Okay, so now we're reading from Srila Bhakti Vallabha Tirtha Goswami Maharaj's book, Sri Chaitanya and His Associates. Haribo Vidyalala Sadidi. Oh, and Haribo Chatamai Mataji. Okay, so the exact time and place of Sri Baladeva Vidyābhūṣaṇa Prabhu, the exact time and place of Srila Baladeva Vidyābhūṣaṇa Prabhu's birth are unknown. Perhaps one day historians will be able to establish these facts beyond any doubt. From the little information that we do have about his life, we can conjecture that he was born in the 18th century of the modern era. Though we do not know the name of the exact village he took birth, it was likely in the Baleshwar district of Orissa, somewhere near Remuna. From the dates given in his commentary on Rupa Goswami's Stavamala, namely the Stavamala Vibhūṣaṇa, it is clear that Baladeva Vidyābhūṣaṇa Prabhu was still living after the Battle of Plassey in 1757. I actually don't know about the Battle of Plassey. My dad would be very disappointed in me. He's very big into history. Battle of Plassey. Oh, okay, God, I should probably know this. The Battle of Plassey was a decisive victory of the British East India Company under the leadership of Robert Clive under the Nawab of Bengal and his French allies on 23rd June 1757. Oh, wow. Okay, sorry, I should know that then. Anyways, we know that Baladeva Vidyābhūṣaṇa Prabhu studied in Vardishnu village on the banks of Chilka Lake, where the scholars used to live. There he learned grammar, poetics, and logic, achieving expertise in all these subjects. He began his studies of the Vedas there, but in order to study various commentaries on Vedanta in greater depth, he went to Mysore. He was there particularly impressed by the logical consistency of Madhvacharya's Shuddha Dvaita commentary on the Vedanta Sutras. And he became a disciple of that school and began living in a Tattvavadi monastery. After taking sannyas, he moved to Purushottam Kshetra, where he defeated many of the local scholars in debate, demonstrating the depth of his scholarship. His fame soon spread everywhere. Later, however, he met Radha Damodar Goswami, a scholar from Kannauj, under whose direction he studied Jiva Goswami's Shat Sandarbha in great detail. So it was under Radha Damodar Goswami that he studied the Shat Sandarbhas. When he was convinced of the supremacy of the Gaudiya Vaishnava philosophy, he took initiation from Radha Damodar Goswami. He was thus initiated in Nityananda Prabhu's line. So the following is his disciplic succession. So Goridas Pandit, then who is the guru of Hriday Chaitanya Prabhu, who's the guru of Shamananda Prabhu, who's the guru of Rasikananda Dev Goswami, who's the guru of Nayanananda Goswami, who is the guru of Radha Damodar Goswami, who is the guru of Baladeva Vidyābhūṣaṇa. So, Gauridas Pandit, Hriday Chaitanya Prabhu, Shamananda Prabhu, Rasikananda Dev Goswami, Nayanananda Goswami, Radha Damodar Goswami, Baladeva Vidyābhūṣaṇa. That's the line. Baladeva Vidyābhūṣaṇa Prabhu then continued his studies of the Gaudiya literature under Pitambar Das, and later studied the Bhagavat Puran under Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. He also took the Vaishnav Vairagi's dress, at which time he was given the name Ekanti Govindadas. Very interesting. I've never heard that before. So Baladeva Vidyābhūṣaṇa, after he took the Vairagi's dress of a renunciate of the Vaishnavas, his name became Ekanti Govindadas. Ekanti Govinda. He was one pointed to Govinda. And I think I have a feeling that Govinda is referring to Rupa Goswami's Radha Govinda, Govinda Dev. He's one pointed, exclusively devoted to Govinda Dev. Baladev's literary works. He was ordered by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur to go to Jaipur, where he prayed to Rupa Goswami's Govindaji deity for the authorization to write a commentary on the Vedanta Sutra. He then composed the Govinda Bhashya and took it to Galta, where he defeated the other sampradayas in a debate, preserving the reputation of the Gaudiya school. After this episode, he was given the title Vidyābhūṣaṇa. This story has been told in greater detail in the previous chapter on Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. It is said that Baladeva established the worship of the Vijay Gopal deity in Galta. His two most prominent disciples were Uddhav Das and Sri Nanda Mishra. Okay. So the following is a list of Baladeva Vidyābhūṣaṇa Prabhu's written works. Just one thing about the Śrīla Baladeva Vidyābhūṣaṇa's commentary. He actually wrote, well, some people say that he wrote 3 commentaries on the Vedanta Sutra. But then others say it was just 2. So the first commentary was called the Brahma Sutra Karika Bhashya. And that he wrote very quickly. And it's very brief. And his positions and everything isn't so clear. And he mostly took from Vallabh and Vitalanath's Anubhashya commentary on the Brahma Sutra. It's like, I think 50% or something like that. He took from them, I might be getting that wrong, but yeah, he took from Vallabhacharya and Vitalanath, who was Vallabhacharya's second son. And then 20 years later, he wrote the Govinda Bhashya. And in the Govinda Bhashya, of course, he takes a lot from Madhvacharya, but then he also takes a lot from Ramanujacharya. Like a lot of huge portions on of the Govinda Bhashya is like paraphrasing what Ramanuja said exactly sometimes, even using the same examples and everything like that. So yeah, he moves away from the 20 years later, then he started moving away from Vallabhacharya's and Vitalanath's understanding, or like their commentary, and more towards Madhvacharya and Ramanujacharya to establish our Gaudiya Siddhanta. So the following is a list of Baladeva Vidyābhūṣaṇa Prabhu's written works. 1. A commentary on the Brahma Sutras, Govinda Bhashya. 2. Siddhanta Ratna. 3. Vedanta Samantaka. 4. Prameya Ratnavali. 5. Siddhanta Darpan. 6. Sahitya Komudi. 7. Kavya Kostuba. 8. Vyakaran Komudi, which appears to have been lost. 9. Pada Kostuba. 10. Vaishnava Nandini, a commentary on the 10th canto. 11. A commentary on the Gopal Tapani Upanishad. 12. Commentaries on the Isha and 9 other Upanishads. 13. Gita Bhushan Bhashya, a commentary on the Bhagavad Gita, which Srila Prabhupada used. That's Srila Prabhupada's commentary is based on this Gita Bhushan Bhashya of Śrīla Baladeva Vidyābhūṣaṇa. Srila Prabhupada even writes in the beginning of the Bhagavad Gita. He writes his tribute. You'll see Baladeva Vidyābhūṣaṇa's name very prominently in the very beginning of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, as it is. Namartha Sudha, a commentary on the Vishnu Sahasranam. Saranga Rangada, a commentary on the Laghu Bhagavatamrita. 16. A commentary on Tattva Sandarbha of Srila Jiva Goswami. 17. Stavamala Vibhushana, a commentary on Stavamala, which my Gurudev's translated some of these, I think. Then 18. A commentary on Rupa Goswami's Natak Chandrika, which appears to have been lost. Then 19. A commentary on Chanda Kostuba. 20. A commentary on Rasikananda's Shamananda Shatak. 21. A commentary on Chandraloka, which appears to have been lost. And 22. Krishna Nandini, a commentary on Sahitya Komudi. And 23. Govinda Bhashya Tika, his commentary. Oh, it says a commentary on his own Govinda Bhashya. That's interesting. And then 24. A commentary on Siddhanta Ratna. I think the commentary on Siddhanta Ratna, though, was by Vedanta Vagish, who is maybe one of his disciples. Anyways, that's not totally clear, though. Other than these, it is claimed that Baladeva Vidyābhūṣaṇa Prabhu also wrote an Aishwarya Kadambini, which is different from that written by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. And the Aishwarya Kadambini by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, there's a discussion of the Dvaita and Advaita doctrines, which is missing from Baladeva Vidyābhūṣaṇa Prabhu's work of that name. And there's a devotee, he's a disciple of, what's his name? God, I forgot his name. Anyways, but his name, there's a devotee, who his name is, all the books that he works on, he always presents his name Damien Martins, but his initiated name is, I think it's Baladev. And he's like dedicated his entire life to researching all of Baladeva Vidyābhūṣaṇa's works. Like he goes through the original manuscripts, compares manuscripts, and he like really gets into all the tedious details, trying to make critical additions and just researching all these manuscripts. And he's been publishing so many of these books of Baladeva Vidyābhūṣaṇa in English. So yeah, amazing service that devotee has done. In the succession of bona fide gurus who make up the Madhva Gaudiya Saraswat Sampradaya, Baladeva Vidyābhūṣaṇa Prabhu is to be remembered regularly. Simply demonstrating a connection through initiation to a family succession of initiating spiritual masters does not make one a bona fide guru. One must demonstrate complete dedication to the supreme truth, Brahma Nishta. Only a pure devotee can be called a bona fide guru. Therefore, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada wrote, I pay obeisances to Vishwanath and all his disciples like Baladev, and Baladev's disciple Jagannath Das Babaji, and his dearmost follower Bhakti Vinod Thakur. Okay, so that was Srila Bhakti Vallabha Tirtha Goswami Maharaj's glorification. What time is it? 7:46. Okay, we already read my Gurudev explaining this. Anyways, this is at the beginning of uh Madhurya Kadambini. Protecting the honor of the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya through Śrīla Baladeva Vidyābhūṣaṇa. This is my Gurudev's explanation. When Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur became very old, he spent most of his time in a semi-conscious state, deeply absorbed in bhajan. During that time, a debate broke out in Jaipur between the Gaudiya Vaishnavas and other Vaishnavas who supported the doctrine of Swakiyavad, or the Lord's pastime of wedded love. And as we know, it's the Ramanandis, who are followers of Sita Ram, and Ram's all about Maryada, and so it's not very easy for them to accept Parakiyavad. So yeah, that's why they said, yeah, okay. So the Vaishnavas from the antagonistic camp had led King Jai Singh II of Jaipur to believe that the worship of Shrimati Radhika or Sri Govindadev is not supported by the scriptures. They're not married. How can you have them out in public in front of everybody? Maybe you can worship them separately, but having them together? No, this isn't dharmic. So their contention was that Shrimati Radhika's name is neither mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam nor in the Vishnu Puran, and that she was never married to Sri Krishna according to Vedic injunctions. The antagonistic Vaishnavas further objected that the Gaudiya Vaishnavas did not belong to a recognized sampradaya or from time immemorial. There have been 4 Vaishnava sampradayas: the Sri Sampradaya. I'm going to skip parts just because, yeah, we've already read this. The Brahma Sampradaya, the Rudra Sampradaya, and the Sanak or Kumar Sampradaya or Chatushan Sampradaya. In this age of Kali, the principal acharyas of these 4 sampradayas are respectively Sri Ramanuja, Sri Madhva, Sri Vishnu Swami, and Sri Nimbaditya. The antagonistic Vaishnavas said that Gaudiya Vaishnavas were outside these 4 sampradayas and therefore without pure lineage. Further, they argued that because Gaudiya Vaishnavas did not have their own commentary on Brahma Sutra, also known as Vedanta Sutra, the philosophical treatise written by Badarayan Vyasadeva, which consists of succinct aphorisms that embody the essential meaning of the Upanishads. So they said because they don't have their own commentary on Brahma Sutra, they could not be regarded as a genuine Vaishnava sect belonging to any genuine disciplic succession. Maharaj Jai Singh knew that the prominent Gaudiya Vaishnava acharyas of Vrindavan were followers of Srila Rupa Goswami, and he invited them to Jaipur to take up the challenge of the Sri Ramanuja Vaishnavas. Srila Chakravarti Thakur was very old at the time and fully absorbed in the transcendental bliss of bhajan. So he sent his student Śrīla Baladeva Vidyābhūṣaṇa to address the Jaipur assembly. Gaudiya Vaishnava Vedanta Acharya Sri Baladeva Vidyābhūṣaṇa, the crown jewel of the assembly of learned scholars and the greatest among exalted teachers of Vedanta, left for Jaipur, accompanied by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's disciple, Sri Krishnadev. Sri Krishnadev Sarvabhauma, he was one of, God, if I might be, from what I understood is that Krishnadev Sarvabhauma eventually went against his own guru, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Like he rejected Srila Vishwanath, or went against his teachings, and he became a court pundit of King Jai Singh II. And he even wrote books for him. Like King Jai Singh II had this Krishnadev Sarvabhauma write books for him. So the caste Goswamis had forgotten their own connection with the Madhva Sampradaya and disrespected the Gaudiya Vaishnavas' doctrinal view, saying it has no connection with Vedanta. Also, Krishnadev Sarvabhauma was a lot older, like decades older than a few decades older, I think. I'm not sure if it's exactly no, but yeah, he's much older than Baladeva Vidyābhūṣaṇa. Anyway, sorry. So the caste Goswamis had forgotten their own connection with the Madhva Sampradaya and disrespected the Gaudiya Vaishnavas' doctrinal view, saying it has no connection with Vedanta. This caused considerable disturbance to the true Gaudiya Vaishnavas. Also, um, our acharyas, like the like Srila Rupa Goswami, Srila Sanatana Goswami, and Srila Jiva Goswami, they didn't try to like show how Chaitanya Vaishnavism is in Vedanta. They would show how, things in Vedanta support Chaitanya Vaishnavism, like Gaudiya Vaishnavism, but not the other way around. And actually, lots of times they're very dismissive of Vedanta. Generally, whenever they accepted like uh yeah, this is an interesting thing, is they very often they would accept the Advaitavadi's definition of words in Vedanta, like how Gyan means impersonal Gyan and how Brahma means impersonal Brahman, and they would accept that view, and they'd take it more as like an Advaitic text, the and so they would sometimes quote from um, the Vedanta sutras and stuff like that, but it was not very prominent. And so it was Baladeva Vidyābhūṣaṇa who showed he brought Chaitanya, like our Gaudiya Vaishnavism within Vedanta. And really, he was before Baladeva Vidyābhūṣaṇa, it wasn't so clear that we were a Vedantic school, but he was the one who really made that, like he established that. He was the one who really established that for the first time. Um, so this caused considerable disturbance to the true. Okay, so Sri Baladeva Vidyābhūṣaṇa, however, used irrefutable logic combined with powerful scriptural evidence to prove the Gaudiya Sampradaya to be a pure Vaishnav Sampradaya in the line of Madhvacharya, called the Sri Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Vaishnav Sampradaya. Srila Jiva Goswami, Srila Kavi Karnapur, and other previous acharyas also accepted this as a fact, that we're in the line of Madhvacharya. The Gaudiya Vaishnavas accept Srimad Bhagavatam as the natural commentary on Vedanta Sutra. For this reason, no one in the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya had written a separate commentary on Vedanta Sutra. There's no need. Srimad Bhagavatam is already the auto commentary of Vedanta Sutra. The name of Srimati Radhika, the personification of the pleasure-giving potency and eternal beloved of Sri Krishna, is mentioned in various Puranas. Srimati Radhika is referred in a very concealed and mystical manner in various places throughout Srimad Bhagavatam, particularly the 10th canto in connection with descriptions of the Lord's Vrindavan pastimes. Only Rasik and Bhavuk devotees conversant with the conclusions of the scriptures can understand this confidential mystery. In the learned assembly in Jaipur, Śrīla Baladeva Vidyābhūṣaṇa refuted the arguments and doubts of the opposing party, and they were silenced by his presentation. He established that the Gaudiya Vaishnavas are in the disciplic succession of Sri Madhvacharya. Despite his victory, however, the contesting party did not accept the Gaudiya Sampradaya to be of pure Vaishnav lineage, because the Gaudiyas had no commentary on Vedanta Sutra. Śrīla Baladeva Vidyābhūṣaṇa therefore composed the famous Gaudiya commentary Sri Govinda Bhashya. Once again, the worship of Shri Shri Radha Govinda commenced in the temple of Sri Govindadev, and the validity of the Sri Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya was firmly established. I'm wondering, though, this is something I want to ask about, is if the commentary that he wrote for that time, if that was actually the short commentary, the what was it called? The Brahma Sutra Karika Bhashya. And then because the Govinda Bhashya is written 2 decades later, but maybe this happened 2 decades later. Like, so I don't actually know the answer to that. It's something I'll probably ask Sunur Gopal about. So once again, the worship, okay. Okay, so then the validity of the Sri Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya is firmly established. It was only on the authority of Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur that Sri Baladeva Vidyābhūṣaṇa composed Sri Govinda Bhashya and proved the connection of Gaudiya Vaishnavas within the Madhva Sampradaya. There is no scope for any doubt in this regard. This accomplishment of Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, performed on behalf of the Sampradaya, will remain inscribed in golden letters in the annals of Gaudiya Vaishnavism. Is that how you say that word? Annals? think so. Anyways, Jai Śrīla Baladeva Vidyābhūṣaṇa Prabhu ki Jai. Okay, so there are 4 minutes left. I guess I'm not going to read the ISKCON Desire Tree thing. Let's see if there's anything interesting in here. Okay, we already read that point. Oh, okay, here's a verse that he wrote. So the scholars in the assembly, they refused to accept anything other than a direct commentary, because he mentioned the point how, or I don't know, maybe he didn't, but yeah, that Srimad Bhagavatam is the commentary on Vedanta. So, but they wanted a direct commentary on Vedanta Sutra. So having no other recourse, Baladev promised to present them with one. They gave Baladev Vidyābhūṣaṇa 18 days to have his commentary ready for discussion. The mood of the Ramanandis was quite aggressive, much like put up or shut up. I don't know who wrote this actually, but so feeling very aggrieved in this manner, Sri Baladeva Vidyābhūṣaṇa took shelter of the Lord and came to Sri Govindaji's temple in Jaipur. After offering his prostrated obeisances, he informed Sri Govinda of everything that had happened. That night, a wonderful thing happened. The Lord appeared to him in a dream and instructed him to write a commentary on the Vedanta Sutra. The Lord said, "You just write, and I will dictate to you what to write, and therefore no one will be able to refuse to accept it." Having seen such a wonderful dream, Śrīla Baladeva Vidyābhūṣaṇa was totally enlivened and felt renewed strength flow into his heart. Thus he began to write, and within a few days he completed the commentary, which is titled Shri Govinda Bhashya. And then there's this verse that he wrote. Vidya Rupam Bhushanam me Pradaya Kyatim Nitya Teno Yo Mamudraha. Shri Govinda Swapna Nirdishta Bhasho Radha Bandhu Bandhuranga Sajiyat. So the meaning of that verse is, may he, I guess maybe this is the Mangala Charan verse of the Govinda Bhashya, I'm guessing. So may he, who so mercifully and munificently was kind towards me, and bestowed his favor by ordering me in a dream to write down his own commentary, which he would compose, and which attained such renown amongst the learned circles that they bestowed upon me the title Vidyābhūṣaṇa. May that dear friend of Srimati Radharani, who holds him dearer than her own, who holds Srimati Radharani, who holds that Govindadev dearer than her own life, may he be glorified, that friend of Srimati Radharani. May that Sri Govinda be glorified. And this assembly took place in 1628 Shakabda at Golta, near the present city of Jaipur. And in that place where that debate took place, Śrīla Baladeva Vidyābhūṣaṇa installed the deity of Vijay Gopal there at the Golta temple. I wonder, Vijay, victorious Gopal, because there he defeated the Ramanandis. I wonder if that has anything to do with, Vijay, the victorious Gopal. But the whereabouts of this deity are presently not known. From this day on, the Maharaj of Jaipur announced Sri Govinda's arati would be performed first, and then the other temples could perform their aratis. Wow. Thus, after accepting the defeat, the Ramanandi scholars expressed their desire to accept initiation from Baladeva Vidyābhūṣaṇa. However, he declined the request by stating that amongst the 4 authorized sampradayas, the Sri Sampradaya was highly respectable and the foremost adherent of Dasya Bhakti. If there is any cause of loss of respect to the Sampradaya, this might be considered an offense. In this way, he would not initiate them. Wow. So not only did he defeat them, but they wanted to take initiation from him afterwards. Amazing. Yeah, and Radha Sham Sundar Mandir, the big deities of Radha Sham Sundar were established by Baladeva Vidyābhūṣaṇa. The small Radha Shama Sundar in that same temple is established by Shamanandaru, but then the big ones is established by Baladeva Vidyābhūṣaṇa. near Loi Bazaar, Radha Shyam Sundar. Okay. Anyways, it's now 8 o'clock, so we will end here. Jai Śrīla Baladeva Vidyābhūṣaṇa Rule Ki Jai. Oh, just one interesting thing. Um, one interesting thing. So no, just I mean it's I like uh I always thought with Srila Prabhupada's commentary on Bhagavad Gita, because we know there's like a big difference between how Srila Prabhupada explains all the verses of Bhagavad Gita and how my Gurudev explains the verses of Bhagavad Gita. And the reason is because Srila Prabhupada followed Baladeva Vidyābhūṣaṇa's commentary, and my Gurudev followed Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary. And they're both very important, and it's very good to see the different our acharya's different perspectives. That's why we have so many commentaries on Srimad Bhagavatam, and they're all very different from each other. But something I always thought when I read Srila Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita, because in Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita, everything is bhakti, right? Like everything is pure devotional service. And he doesn't really differentiate between nishkam karma and bhakti and gyan and bhakti, like not so clearly. And I always thought that that was just something Srila Prabhupada did to make everything really easy for everybody, just to not get confused by all these other paths and all these other processes and everything. And he just wanted to bring everybody's focus. And that was probably what Srila Prabhupada wanted to do. Not distract anybody with all these other things, but no, everything is bhakti. But also, um, then I just thought about this yesterday that Baladeva Vidyābhūṣaṇa, when he wrote the Vedanta Sutra, like our Goswamis, all this terminology. Sundar Gopal Prabhu wrote a paper on this, called it's something like the bricolage theology. How our Goswamis took he took pieces from all different tradition like all different traditions, like from the Mimamsakas, he would take something, and especially from Ramanuja and Madhvacharya, and he took different pieces from their philosophies, and he put them all together to like make like a mosaic. But because all these different teachings had completely different ways of like the way their terminology that they use, everything, their philosophy is so completely different from each other, like completely different paradigms. Um, and so when you're taking from all these different places, then all these different pieces are not going to fit together. Just like if
Hare
you take,
Krishna, Haribol.
yes, yes, yes,
So,
yes.
Srila Gurudev personally told me that I should read both his and Srila Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita, and that there was no contradiction, that it was complementary.
Oh, definitely. 100%. No,
And
yeah.
yeah, what he was saying, that they weren't different, they were just complementing each other. And he also recommended that before you read his Bhagavad Gita, you read Srila Prabhupada's.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
I'm just about to get to explaining something about that. But
Okay.
yeah, yeah. So they took from all these different places. Um, but and they also took a lot from like Shankaracharya and like that. But then something very interesting is that they would use the terminology. I'm just about to get to explaining something about that. But yeah, sorry. So they would use the terminology. They accepted the terminology of Shankaracharya, like how Shankaracharya would use different words, like gyan. They like, and we till this day, this came from the Goswamis, that when we say the word gyan, we usually think of impersonal knowledge, right? And when we hear the word sayuja, we usually think of merging in with Krishna, merging into Brahman, or we when we hear the words, what are some other words like that? anyways, Brahman, we think of the impersonal aspect of Krishna and like that, right? Um, and so, but Madhvacharya and Ramanujacharya, those words did not mean that. Sayuja meant being linked to Krishna, like in a relationship with Krishna, like very closely connected with Krishna. And Gyan was just a synonym, like almost like a synonym for bhakti. It meant knowledge of our like how we're servants of Krishna. Like and all this terminology. Brahma only referred to Krishna, not an impersonal aspect of Krishna. And they said that it's not even possible to merge into Brahman and all that kind of stuff. So that was Ramanuja and Madhvacharya and others. But then our Goswamis, they did something amazing. They wanted to accept the terminology and a lot of the teachings of Shankaracharya so that they could show how it's lesser, like they could like take it over kind of. um and so anyways, that's a whole interesting topic. But Baladev Vidyābhūṣaṇa, in his Govinda Bhashya commentary, he was following Madhvacharya and Ramanujacharya. So Baladev Vidyābhūṣaṇa also, when he uses terms like Gyan, he only means bhakti. And when he says Sayuja, he means being connected, like linked together with Krishna in a relationship, an eternal relationship with Krishna, like being intimately united with Krishna, not merging into Krishna. The Brahma, when Baladev Vidyābhūṣaṇa says Brahma, he's following Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya, meaning Brahma only means Para Brahma Krishna, the personal form of Krishna. Brahma does not mean some impersonal aspect or something. And so then also in his, what is it called? The Gita Bhushana commentary? Gita Vibhushana? I think so. Anyways, in that commentary, also we see that he's using all this terminology. Everything's just referring to bhakti. He's not really giving much space or like accepting the impersonal conception like that. And so I think that's where Srila Prabhupada, this is just my speculation, but Srila Prabhupada wanted to use Baladev Bhushan's commentary for what he presented to the West to make everything crystal clear that bhakti is everything, and this is our path, and everything should, and so but then Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he took more from like our Goswamis. And so then he would mention all these different things like Nishkam Karma Yoga and all that. And not that everything was just bhakti, 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 but there are these different paths and all that. Like, so that's why you see some difference in the Bhagavad Gita. But and of course, neither are wrong. They're both fully perfect and right. But yeah, just my understanding is that Srila Prabhupada, this is just my just my speculation though, that Srila Prabhupada used Baladev Vidyābhūṣaṇa's commentary for that reason, to make everything very clear. Sorry, I'm just repeating myself. But yeah, I thought that was kind of cool. um all right. So that's our program for today. And see you all tomorrow to read about Ganga Mata Goswamini and the glories of Ganga Devi. And yeah, all right, I'll just do a short Mahamantra and then we'll end our program. And at this point, I think I've mentioned it a couple times now, but Sundar Gopal Prabhu mentioned it to me, and I just thought it was such a good example that how our Goswamis talk about the self-imperfection. Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, and Jiva Goswami, the way they talk about the self-imperfection is completely different from each other. They don't go together. They don't fit together. And so you can't really say, oh, it's all just saying the same thing. But it's actually like completely different things. But it's not that they're contradictory. It's just they are interested in different things. Just like if you see an old historical building, the what is it? The carpenter, sorry, the historian will be interested in knowing about the time period that the building was built in, who is ruling at that time, how did he order the people to construct it? What was the political situation and all these historical things. And that's what he's interested in. And then an engineer will be interested, how did it withstand all these earthquakes that happened? And he'll be looking at the structural integrity, like how the foundation and like how it was able to not collapse, and how it survived, so how it lasted so many years till this present day. And then an architect will be interested in knowing about the style and the all the, so they're completely different things, and they're not even related to each other. They're just like completely, they're looking at it from completely different viewpoints. But that doesn't mean that, oh no, the historian was wrong, or no, that'd be absurd if you say that. It's just that they are interested in different things. And so it doesn't need to all harmonize together. It's just different things. And so it's like that with many of, when you hear some of our acharyas or different time periods, different acharyas speaking about topics in completely different ways, it's not that they are contradicting each other or that they're against each other or anything, but they're just looking at it from completely different viewpoints. They're interested in different things, different perspectives. Um, and so we should never get confused or like, um, yeah, whenever we see differences like that. All right. Jai Hare. Okay, I'll do Muhammad really quick and then. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol. Jai Shri Sachinandan Gaur Hari Ki Jai, Shri Shri Radha Vinod Bihari Ju Ki Jai, Shri Govinda Gopinath Maran Mohan Ju Ki Jai, Jai Shri Gurudev Ki Jai, Jai Shri Param Gurudev Ki Jai, Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai, Shri Rupanu Gauriya Guru Varga Ki Jai, Jai Shri Jai Śrīla Baladeva Vidyābhūṣaṇa Prabhu ki Jai, his Tadiya Shubha Tirubhav Titi ki Jai, Shri Govinda Bhashya Govinda Bhashya ki Jai, Jai Shri Swaparshad Shri Gaur Nityananda Prabhu ki Jai, Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopikan ki Jai, Giriraj Maharaj ki Jai, Tulsi Maharani Vrinda Devi ki Jai, Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki Jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Jai, Samagat Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai, Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Vrindai Tulsi Devai, Priyai Keshavashacha, Krishna Bhakti Pradadevi, Sattvatai Namo Namaha, Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha, Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha, Patitanam Pavanebhyo, Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Dandavat Pranams. Dandavat Pranams, Niri Hari Prabhu, Bhavatharani Mataji, Sarveshwari Mataji, Anadi Krishna Prabhu, Chattamai Mataji, and on YouTube and Facebook, Ganga Mataji, Rukmini Didi, Shripad Bhaktivedanta Sajan Maharaj, Haribo Maharaj, Vrinda Didi, Vidyalalasa Didi, Rohini Nandan Prabhu, and so many other devotees. Dandavat Pranams. Also pranams all devotees watching in the future, Shachi Devi, Revati Didi, and Jayadev Prabhu, and everybody else. Dandavat Pranams. Thank you so much for joining. See you all tomorrow. Yeah. All right. Is there anything anybody wants to mention before I end our program? Okay. Oh yes. Chatamai Mataji. Gonna say something? Oh, 1 second. Actually, 1 second. I just need to shut off some nature sounds I have. It's blocking out the noise. Okay, now I can hear you. You're muted. Can you unmute yourself? Chatamai Mataji, you're muted right now. I can't hear you.
There it is. Thank you for your patience. I was wondering what that analogy of the two different types of people looking at the same building, what did that analogy apply to? You mentioned two names and I missed it.
Okay. Actually, there's three different perspectives. Like
Oh, wow.
there's the historian, the architect, and the engineer. And
Okay.
they're interested in different things. Historians interested in the history. Oh, it's obvious, they're interested. And so that was Sundar Gopal Prabhu. He mentioned that example in relation to the self imperfection. And
Self,
so
I,
the self imperfection, like when we, what happens when our like when we achieve perfection, like and so Srila Jiva Goswami, Srila Rupa Goswami, and Srila Sanatana Goswami, they explain that our self imperfection, they explain it in completely different ways from each other.
okay. So that's Sanatan Goswami, Jiva, and
And
Rupa.
Rupa Goswami, yeah, they
Okay,
explain it in
thank you.
completely.
Wow, that's pretty important information.
And so a lot of
Understand they're different.
Sundar Gopal Prabhu, he's for the past 5 years, he's devoted all of his time and energy, 100% fully on this topic. And he's getting his PhD in Oxford University on this topic. And so he's looked
Wow.
very deep into um, because is he calls it a bricolage theology, where they're taking from all these different systems and putting all these unmatching pieces together to establish, because Mahaprabhu never wrote anything, and so
Mm,
and so when Mahaprabhu left, then our Gaudiya Siddhanta had to be established in an authoritative way. And the Goswamis, they didn't just want it to like write our philosophy in their own words. Like that's not our tradition. Is we always take from others, like from authorities. And so then they took from all these different totally different random places, no, not random, but like totally different places and put them all together. But since they're completely different viewpoints and everything, nothing actually fit together perfectly. Um, and so a lot of this debate that devotees get on, on this the self imperfection, and some people say, oh no, Jiva Goswami says this, and now Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying something different, and like there's all these debates now happening now, but the
okay.
reason why these debates are happening, a lot of it is because they don't like they're trying to bring everything together and make it all like monolithic, but it's you can't do that really. And so
Everyone
the
has their own specialty, you're saying. Everyone has their own emphasis that they're able to understand. But it sounds
yeah,
like
they're
it
looking at
sounds
it
like
from
six blind men and the elephant. Does that work?
yeah, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they're not meant to be go together, because they're explaining
Okay.
different viewpoints, like different perspectives on completely different things, but related to the self imperfection. But it's yeah.
Wow, it
Anyways,
sounds like something we should be reading whenever it gets
yeah, I'm
published.
I'm very excited. Whenever it's all finished, I think it's going to be finished very soon. Like I think within this year even. And so when it is, I really want to go into this topic because it's so fascinating. Sundar
It's
Gopal has mentioned different things to me about it, and so I've just been repeating what little things I've heard. But like once it's actually available, his thesis and all that, I really want to go into it. It's really fascinating, and his whole purpose in doing it is showing how Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, what he gave us, what he did, and how he was able to harmonize everything. And I
mm,
think it's going to put a lot of these debates to rest.
uh,
Once so, but
beautiful.
it's also really fascinating though to see, um, because that's what Sundar Gopal did, is he looked very deeply into all the places that our Goswamis were taking from. Like he looked into like he would see everything that they took in context, like so he went very deep into the teachings of Ramanujacharya, very deep into the teachings of Madhvacharya, and and all the different places where they took from. He went like very deep into all those subjects to see what parts they were taking and to understand, to see like, because like when you see what they're taking from, when you understand more clearly what they were taking from like what place, then you can kind of see more clearly what they were trying to do. Um, like I don't I anyways.
Yeah, I
um
understand. I
yeah, yeah,
understand. It makes sense because none of us has the whole picture. So we
yeah,
need to combine them and take them all into consideration and create a composite vision from that. It
yes.
sounds like essential information.
Yeah, and it's a very important way to see like how we should look at all these topics. Like I think our tendency is just to want to simplify everything as much as possible, and just to make everything super black and white. And so, like, just after speaking to Sundar Gopal a few times, and like just from whatever I've heard from him, I'm starting to get an understanding how, wow, we really we shouldn't be so confident and like, no, 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 it's like this. And but there's so many different subtle points and different perspectives and thoughts, and like I'm now starting to get a bit of an understanding how carefully and how we have to approach these topics and just to understand how much we don't know. Like there's a
Oh,
lot going on that we don't even realize, and so a lot of these arguments that people get in are just, yeah, they're actually silly if you understand it. Anyways, whatever. I'm just yeah, rambling.
thank
Yeah.
you for your efforts to explain a very difficult subject. I appreciate it.
I don't know so much now also, but I'm very excited about this topic. Once it is
It is. It's
presented,
very exciting.
yeah, then I whatever I learn, I want to share as much as possible. Maybe we can hear from Sundar Gopal directly also. That would be
Oh,
really good.
wow. There you go. Then we can
Yeah.
ask questions and you'll have to
Yeah.
create some kind of a presentation
Yes,
to
yes.
show us.
I think he does
That's
plan on
very
doing that
nice.
sometime. I mean, I don't think he wants to make like a big, very public presentation because he
Right.
doesn't want to attract like unhinged people. You know, like some people just want to get in an argument about anything for, you know what I mean? So he's not going to like make a big public thing, but he
Hmm.
does want to present this to devotees who are interested. So
Oh, very
hopefully that
interesting.
will be happening soon, and I'll keep you updated on that. Like if he ever does plan to make any kind of private presentation for devotees, I'll let you know.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you
Prabhu,
for another wonderful session, Prabhu.
Thank you. Haribo. Hare
Prabhu,
Krishna.
which Sundar Gopal you talking about?
British Sundar Gopal, who used to
Ah,
travel
no,
with
not
Gurudev.
we have two Sundar Gopal. No?
Yeah. Well, I know like five Sundar Gopals,
All right.
and I
So,
have friendships with all of them. So it's really confusing whenever I'm talking to people. I always have to
yeah, because was
clarify.
one from Australia. So I was asking. They were the two
Yes.
twins. The twins.
Yes. I have different names. I have like Twin Sundar, Jaipur Sundar, British Sundar, Russian Sundar, the Bhakti Vallabha Tirtha Goswami Maharaj disciple Sundar Gopal, and
All right.
I'm like regularly in contact with all five of those Sundar Gopals. So it's like
All right.
confusing.
All right.
Yeah, Simon Haas. His name's Simon Haas. Yeah. All right.